two-time F1 champion Mika Häkkinen, welcome to CNN Money Switzerland.
Thank you.
We're here in Zurich for a reason that links strongly to the successes in your career as a racing driver. Explain.
When I did start my career in Formula 1 91, it took me 7 years before I won my first Grand Prix. And in 97, I got connection to Aki Hintsa, the founder of the Hintsa Performance, and it was great pleasure to work with him.
And what did he do for you? Because it's probably no coincidence that you kind of met him in 97 and then went on to win in 98 and 99.
That is correct. You know, you can imagine if you're a company leader. You know, if you're CEO of the company and 7 years all the time. Oh, you're losing. First of all, I'm sure this company leader, you know, would be looking in the mirror every morning and said, "What's going on here? Am I good enough? What do I need to do different to be a better leader for the company?" But 7 years is a long time. It's such a long time, and over those years, there is coming a lot of people from different directions to looking at you and said, "No, we have a doubt in your abilities to win, to take this company to lead."
Is that how you felt?
No, I lived that life basically. You know, I was in a position in a team that way I have to be the number one. I have to be the best to show my talent. So over those years, it was a lot of analyzing myself, analyzing why I'm not winning, what are the causes why I'm not able to win. And that was a very important part of my time until I started getting better performance. And more analyzed, not only myself, what's happening outside, but if we talk about me, what I love, I wanted to all the time better racing driver. And when I did meet Aki Hintsa in 97, I still had moments, situations in my life that way I was still feeling I was lacking something to be complete racing driver.
And was that just in the skills as a racing driver, or was that in life in general? Or does that kind of doubt eat away at every part of?
If you want to be a winner, your life is focusing only for that what your goal is, which is the winning in the Grand Prix racing. So that includes your private life, your friends, your management, the team what you're racing for. It includes media. It includes your traveling, what you eat, what you drink. I mean, just the list is enormous. So when you are a racing driver, young racing driver, how manage all that? So yes, you need a great team, you need a great management, you need a great support from the family. But still, this young driver is still wondering, I haven't been winning. What I do wrong, and what I can do better. And when I met Aki Hintsa, I did explain to him that way. They still, when I wake up in the morning and I'm maybe, you know, Grand Prix in US or whatever, I wake up in the morning and wondering sometimes, how is my family? How they are doing? And I don't want to think about that because I need to focus on my racing. And that was one of the subjects when I met first time Aki Hintsa. I mentioned it, that these are the example, one of the issues which are bothering me. And I'm sure many.
And he helped you kind of put these into kind of compartments for you to deal with?
It definitely was one of the subjects, one of the issues. They think they sometimes these things feels very simple and easy. But when you are flat out there doing your racing performance and not able to win for a long time, you can lose a little bit what is the main core in your life.
And so what did Aki Hintsa do for you? Well,
I did request it when I first time met him in 97. I said to him that way. I spoke to him a lot of things, of course. But one of the issues was like a family, you know. Can you help me to balance all the issues with the family example? That way they are fine when I'm other side of the world. And now we are 2018. This happened many years ago in 97. So when Aki Hintsa first time took part of the Formula One driver's life, he got interested, massively interested, that, oh my God, your life is complicated. You know, you have to get success in all these levels to be number one. So how, he was thinking, how I can help you. And it was fascinating to see how motivated he was to start studying and learning about to get best out of you. And it was not only that way you're putting your running shoes on and getting fitter. It was more getting involved the science, people who are specialized in certain things in your body, and bringing this area at the top level. And the Grand Prix teams, they investing a lot of money in their cars and the developments and aerodynamics, and they investing a lot for the driver. And the driver has to be, you know, flat out maximum. And this was in '97. So over the years, the Hintsa performance developed even more detailed work with the driver's example, what they are bringing for the business.
And that's what you're doing here in Zurich.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what are the similarities then between a racing driver and a Zurich-based businessman?
How do I say that? You are constantly under pressure. The company has to make better result, you know. And if it is your responsibility, you cannot point the finger, it's your mistake. No, you have to focus to do best what you can do yourself. When you travel around the world, it's not easy. If you have to travel to China, meeting same day, you know, you're going to be exhausted. So you need proper advice how to adapt, to be sharp when you go to meeting. Like a Grand Prix driver, when they go there, they have to be ready. There was a Singapore Grand Prix just happening. When the drivers go in there, you know, they don't even go to Singapore time. They are staying European time. And it just doesn't happen like, okay, I stay awake, I don't go to sleep. Or, you know, it has to have a science behind. That way you can, you know, do the maximum physical performance. And that's why, you know, when you're talking about business people, they live in very similar life, you know. They need to take care of their nutrition, their fitness, how they drink, how much they need to drink.
How groundbreaking is this, though? Because isn't it just common sense to look after yourself?
Well, yeah, it is a common sense. But when you are in a very high level, your pressure is different. And when you've been going flat out for years and years, the little details makes a difference. You are not, I'm talking about the, you know, like a business leader, you don't go there suddenly to make, you know, the company to bang, we're making 100% for next year profit. No, it is a little details, a lot of thinking. And I feel that way, you know, even there's a common sense, but you want to be a little bit better. How I can be a little bit better? And then you come into a situation where you have to fine-tune yourself. And it doesn't mean you have to change the whole habits of your style of your life, but improving a little bit, help with the science. And I think that's fascinating. And end of the day, you know, I'm talking about now, talking about myself, racing driver, but when you're talking about companies who has 10,000 people working or even more, you know, all these people have to improve a little bit. And then you will see even the mega result.
You still live by these rules even now, even though you're not a racing driver now?
Yeah, I mean, I retired, you know, in 2001, so that's a long time ago. I'm very proudly to be involved with a Hintsa performance, and it's great to see the development, what they do constantly all the time with the drivers, and like they do at the moment, they take care of about 80% of the Grand Prix drivers. So it's a huge, you know, percentage of the drivers who've been taken care. And
now, do you consider yourself a businessman now? Is that how you describe yourself?
I do, and I use the Hintsa performance. I do absolutely, and business is what I'm involved and what I do. I can relate myself very easily when I was a racing driver. and I found it fascinating. It gives me even more confidence to talk about the Hinsa performance, about my career in the past, talking about myself today. Like I told you, I like to talk about myself, you know.
That's okay. We want to hear. We want to hear. I mean, how do you look back on your Formula One career?
I think it was a great success. I mean, winning world champions twice, it's not a lot. You know, Michael Schumacher won 7 times. I don't know how he was able to do that. It was a brilliant performance. Nevertheless, you know, I raced in Formula One 10 years, but I did have quite a bad accident in '95. So
did that change the way you thought?
I think what it changed a lot that way why I didn't continue longer. So '95 I had an accident. '98 I won my first championship. Second one '99, and I had those years. 98, 99, 2000, 2001, I did have quite a few accidents, either mechanical failures, or I made a driving mistake, and I needed to go to hospital a couple of times, you know, to make a checkout, you know, because of the accident. And I was thinking that, shall I push my luck further? You know, shall I still continue doing this?
Because you initially went on a sabbatical, and that changed into retirement.
Absolutely, it gave me the confidence to really to say it's over, and I felt it was a very one sense easy decision, but same time, of course, when you retire from such a hectic world, you have new challenges coming in your life, how to handle those, how to balance those. And that's also the very interesting time with Aki Hinsa to spend time together and how to retire travel, how do I see the life now, how you see the world at the moment, and yeah.
You mentioned Schumacher there. You kind of lived in that heyday of Formula One rivalries. I mean, there was you and Schumacher. Before you, there was Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. Then James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Do you think Formula One still has that kind of rivalry? Has the sport changed over the years?
What Formula One, I felt how they lived quite a long time. It was quite the radical changes. You know, the technical things changed radically. People were talking about the cars and about what changes are coming.
Are there bigger changes nowadays?
But if you look the whole world, people who are excited about the Formula One, they're excited about the people, not only about the cars. So I think this human aspect disappeared for quite a few years. Until now, I believe when things are more, how do I see, settle down in Formula One into the mechanical side.
And now the characters are coming out again.
Exactly. And you have great drivers like Sebastian Vettel, Lewis. They are fighting very intensively for the championship. So I think it's great.
You think they'll be the great rivalry of this time then?
Yeah.
Vettel and Hamilton.
Yeah, I think they're great. But of course, there's two Finns, you know, the Valtteri Bottas and Kimi there, and they still season. There's 5 races still to go, so the door is still open. Never know what happens.
Okay, and who else are you watching right now in sport? Because you blog as well, don't you? You write about Formula One. So who's on your radar really as an up and coming star?
Yeah, I've been approached quite a few drivers, young drivers, and I've been in a management team of Valtteri Bottas for I think around 6-7 years, so quite a long time. And I have seen the difficulties and challenges to taking the driver to Formula One, and it's a really tough road. So Valtteri definitely, it was a very exciting, and still it is exciting to be part of that and seeing that how that process went. The generation now how they arrive into Formula One, they are 18 years old. So they are very young guys. And it's fascinating to see how ready they are when they come into Formula One. And that's again, when you're talking about the Hinsa performance, they have a great tools to get these young drivers to be ready in Formula One, mentally and physical, and they know what to expect when they're coming to Formula One. But if we're talking about young drivers in Formula One, it's interesting to see what the Leclerc example from Monaco, how he's able to, perform next year with the Ferrari.
Yes, well, him and Räikkönen just kind of swapped teams, really, didn't they, recently?
It's very interesting to see how it's gonna go, but I think the Leclerc is a very interesting. He's been very highly rated, so you can imagine the pressure what he's living.
And he just left Sauber, which is the kind of Swiss team, I guess.
Yes.
You think there's any potential here in Switzerland to find the next new driver? We don't often hear of them in Switzerland.
Well, of course, motor racing people love motor racing in Switzerland, but you don't have any really racing here. You had a Formula E here in Zurich actually, but I think you need this activity. You need these young people to get more passionate about it, and the parents to be passionate about motor racing. And if you want to talk about that way, is there going to be? Contact the Hinsa performance. Start from the base.
Tell me, I mean, Schumacher's son has potential as well, right? I mean, he's currently Formula 3, moving up into Formula 2. You think he's got it in him to follow in his father's footsteps?
Again, I mean, to build up your physical condition for driving a racing car, it's possible. But then comes to your psychological side, the mental side, the strength, what you need. And that's the other thing, what becoming a challenge. And knowing Mick, I feel that he's a very strong character. He's not afraid, and I believe with that kind of mentality, he can also learn very fast. So he's done great results, and I believe he can be in Formula One day. But again, it's
all to play for.
Yeah, we'll see.
And do you still keep in touch with the Schumacher family at all?
Well, it's something what I don't personally ask questions about it, and I think it's something because it's so private thing. If there is something, I'm always there to help, but I leave it like that. Okay.
You mentioned Formula E here in Switzerland, which we had our first Zurich Grand Prix. Do you think? What are your thoughts on Formula E?
Well, it's interesting. I believe if you look the road cars these days, it's no question about it. There will be cars running with the battery, and it's coming sooner or later. And I don't think it's going to take too many years. Formula E is a great platform to develop certain technology, which can then brought the road cars on the road. So I think Formula E is a great motor racing category, and big companies are investing there to test their products to be better, and.
You think that it could ever be a rival for Formula One, or is it just too different?
I don't know. I don't want to say that word that way, never, because but it's like I said, there's a lot of power behind. So I think with the power, they can do a type of marketing, which can influence the people to follow it more, and then it becomes so big that way. Something will happen, but it's going to take some time.
And what are the challenges that's facing Formula One these days? Do they have the viewership that they once did, for example?
I think the challenge is I think if there's a race last weekend, what's happening during that week? How you keep the people motivated and excited about Formula One? Yes, when it's Grand Prix weekend, yeah, people watch it, but what happens between? Yeah. And I think that's a challenge, how to turn that to be more exciting.
Well, technology helps with that.
Absolutely.
I mean, the drivers are a lot more in contact with their fans, for example.
Absolutely. And I think the challenge is if you decide to make more races, the teams, they have, if you put
it's already a
the
tough life.
ladies and the gentlemen to travel around the world like that, it become a problem, and the time is going to be limited.
Do you wish, thinking back to when you were a world champion, do you wish that you could have been in touch with your fans as much as the guys these days are able to? Or do you think that was a nice distance for you?
I think I was, one sense in my time, it was more mystery. Who are the drivers? Who they really are? What are their personalities? And I think when I was in Formula One, people were thinking I'm quite a quiet guy, because I didn't talk so much, but you can see I talk a lot.
I know, we're nearly running out of time.
But the fact is, I believe all these social media, what's happening, and yes, you can be in contact more with the driver. It brings the new challenges, how you communicate and what you say, and I think that's one of the businesses what I'm in at the moment, the social media, to bring in a premium content. That way you don't have to read everything. Only focus on those premium content which is interesting and can give something for the fans. It is educational or something
that has purpose rather than...
Exactly. And I believe that in my time, when I was racing, I got massive amount of letters. So you can imagine how to reply all of them was always a challenge. And I think that's a key point today's world, to having, in this century, to having a fan club. That way you can really to be interactive with the fans, communicate with them, organize the meetings, give them a chance to get autograph. And we have quite a good tool how we can do that. But that's how I see. I think, yeah.
Now we're obviously talking on CNN Money Switzerland. Is money important to you?
Of course, if I would say it's not important, I would be lying. It is important, but it has to be balanced in many ways. And success doesn't come with the money. Success comes with the people. And when you have that team together, I think that then the money comes. So, of course, it's important.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people do seem to say that actually, success comes from happiness rather than from financial gain, I think, in the future.
Yeah, you're right. There's many philosophical words what you can use, but you have to separate, of course, when you talk about money and business and what your goals and aims in your life.
Here on CNN Money Switzerland, we talk all the time about the trade tariffs and the difficulties with the US and China. I mean, how do you feel about the state of the world these days?
It's definitely an interesting topic, but I would rather not talk about politics. Ask something about the Formula One,
Stick to Formula One. Okay, who's going to be the winner then this year?
Okay. Such a difficult question, I'll tell you.
We could go back to sorting the world's problems out if you want. I'm joking,
exactly.
I'm joking.
It's the same story.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there. Mika Häkkinen, thank you very much indeed.
Very nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Cheers.